Serial impregnator Nick Cannon is starting a relationship advice podcast. A 114-year-old marathoner was sadly hit and killed by a car, and a Thai woman was arrested for blackmailing monks with sex videos. These are the weird stories for Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast in the galaxy. I got some weird, strange stories for you today. Let's go. Nick Cannon is starting a relationship podcast. Do you guys know Nick Cannon? He's a host, former rapper. He's on that show, what is it called? Wild and Out, that's what it's called. I don't recommend the show to anybody over the age of 14. Nick is a pretty well-known TV host. I think he's more well-known, though, for other things, such as being married to Mariah Carey and for having 12 kids with 6 different wives, and he doesn't know the names of the kids, this kind of thing. So, the irony of this individual starting a relationship advice podcast, that's where the jokes are going to come from. The podcast is called Nick Cannon at Night, and he's going to answer questions from listeners about love, sex, relationships, and dating. He's going to tape the show in front of a live audience in Los Angeles, and will also bring in topical experts and celebrity guests for each episode. Cannon, it says, is hosting the show as a father of 12 with 6 different women, and as someone who has had his relationships heavily scrutinized. Yeah, that's an understatement. The press release for this podcast says, when it comes to his personal life, Nick Cannon has never shied away, unapologetically leaving the world curious about his views on dating, fatherhood, and modern relationships. So who better to offer advice? You're joking, right? Who better to offer dating and relationship advice? I'm going to say nearly anybody. You could throw a stone and hit somebody who's going to give you better relationship advice than Nick Cannon. I mean, are you kidding? He unapologetically leaves the world curious about his views on dating and fatherhood. No, I don't think he does. We're not curious about his views. They're obvious what his views are. He unapologetically leaves the world preggo and moves on. It's clear. Well, in case any of you are curious as to when you'll be able to listen to the worst relationship advice in the history of relationships, it's going to premiere July 23rd with episodes on YouTube and Wondery and all podcast platforms. Nick will also conduct man-on-the-street-style interviews about relationship questions. Well, careful. Watch out, ladies. Nick Cannon doing man-on-the-street stuff. Watch out you don't get pregnant. The article ends with a laundry list of the things that Nick Cannon has executive produced and hosted, including Fox's The Masked Singer and Fox's Lego Masters. This guy's got his fingers in all kinds of productions here. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't even get a gig out here in Los Angeles. This guy, involved in any... Who should we get? I don't know. Call that Nick Cannon guy. Don't you think he might impregnate some of the staff? Yeah, it's a risk we're willing to take. The Chiefs didn't win a Super Bowl until they got Tyreek Hill. My point is, no one gives a damn about anybody's character anymore, obviously. They're just going to hand you the keys to whatever project they think you'll be able to add dollars to, sadly. What's the fallout of that? Well, you're going to have young, impressionable individuals listening to the relationship advice from Nick Cannon. That's the fallout. Advice like, never pull out under any circumstances. Condoms are for the Mormons. Basically, every bit of Nick Cannon relationship advice ends with, and make sure she doesn't abort it. And now for some fatherhood tips by Nick Cannon. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to impregnate every woman that'll let you. Today's guest is someone who lives the lifestyle, Elon Musk. And just to prove to you that I'm such a great father, at the end of this episode, I'm going to bring all 12 of my kids on and show you that I can remember 8 of their names. Yeah, this dude is like legendary narcissist, is what's going on. I mean, this guy's got weapons-grade narcissism just running through his head. Now, I'm not saying Nick Cannon shouldn't have a podcast, but it shouldn't be a podcast about this. Here's what Nick Cannon should have a podcast about. He should share with us where he gets the time to do any of this stuff. Does this guy not sleep more than 2 hours a night? He seems like a Superman to me. Yeah, now that's something we can all use. How to Get Crap Done by Nick Cannon. I produce 17 TV shows and host 4 others and still have time to visit around a third of my kids on a regular basis. I mean, this is the secret I want to know. But no, they got to go with relationship advice on this platform. I mean, just very, very silly. What are you going to do next? Follow it up with the Alec Baldwin podcast on gun safety? A 114-year-old marathon runner dies after being struck by a car. Fauja Singh Fauja Singh is an Indian-born runner nicknamed the Turbaned Torpedo. Wow, what a great nickname, the Turbaned Torpedo. That's almost as cool as the Cuban Missile. Well, this man was believed to be the world's oldest marathon runner. He died after being hit by a car. It says he was 114. I'm looking at a photo of him. No way, 114. He doesn't look a day over 102, if we're being honest. But I guess you look that good when you run all the time. Okay, so the local media reported that Singh sustained severe head injuries in a hit-and-run accident on Monday while he was crossing the road in his native village near Jalandhar in Punjab. He was taken to the hospital where the marathoner later died, sadly. His London-based running club and charity, Sikhs in the City, confirmed his death. Amazing name for his running club. Sikhs in the City. Hilarious. This guy looks happy. I'm sure he was a very funny guy. 114 years old. Just gone too soon. Gone too soon. Taken before his time. Total legend with a capital D. Jonesy, why wouldn't you do legend with a capital L? Because I'm not going to slap a L on the Turban Torpedo. Now, India's Prime Minister had something to say about the passing of the Turban Torpedo, saying that he was an extraordinary, unique person, and he inspired the youth of India on very important topics of fitness. Now, Singh became the oldest man to run a full marathon, apparently, in 2011 at the age of 100 in Toronto. His accomplishment was not recognized by Guinness World Records because he did not have a birth certificate to prove his age. So no birth certificate, and that's the basis of quite a few comments that I've read about this man. Many people saying that he lied about his age, and he probably did, but so what? He's an inspiration to many people. What do you care if he lies about his age? I mean, unless you're the actual person trying to break the oldest marathon running record. But even then, he's not recognized as having the record, so it doesn't even affect you if you are that person who's, 104 and trying to break the marathon record. Now, Singh, it says, was a torchbearer for the 2012 London Olympics. He took up running at the age of 89, he claims, as a way to get over depression after his wife and son died in quick succession in India. The death in 1994 of his son took a particularly hard toll on him because of its grisly nature. I'm not going to read the story about how his son died. It's pretty bad. But this is his way of dealing with it. He jumped into a lifestyle that's centered around running and fitness, and that's a very healthy way to do it, I would argue. Many people just succumb to chemicals in those instances. So this guy's definitely an inspiration. Did he lie about his age? I don't give a damn. Now, it says Singh ran his final competitive race in 2013 at the supposed age of 101. That was the Hong Kong Marathon's 10-kilometer race. He did it in 1 hour, 32 minutes. Following his retirement from racing, he said he hoped people will remember him and not forget him. He also wanted people to continue to invite him to events rather than forget him altogether just because he didn't run competitively anymore. Wow, this guy is amazing. This is what we call a boss. He's a boss, legend, an inspiration. Very sad that he, passes away, especially in this manner. Imagine living to be 100 and you don't die of natural causes. That just seems so out of the ordinary. And quite a letdown. You live that long and then that happens. I mean, you expect to just croak in your sleep, not out there being active in the world. I'll tell you right now, if I live to 100 and I die by a hit and run, I'm going to haunt that driver. My ghost is going to haunt that driver for the rest of that driver's life on Earth. A woman in Thailand has been arrested for blackmailing Buddhist monks with sex tapes. The Thai police have arrested a lady who allegedly had sexual relations with many monks and then used photos and videos of these acts to extort money from the monks. I don't even know monks had money. I thought they were supposed to give up all of their possessions. They weren't supposed to have money. Their clothes are borrowed. They're barefoot. But apparently the monks got some money and some video recording equipment, it would seem. Now, the Thai police say that this unnamed woman extorted at least 9 monks. They believe she received around 385 million baht, which comes to a total of about 12 million USD over the past 3 years. She got $4 million a year sleeping with some monks, at least 9 of them. Wow, man, I had no idea that monks were just balling in the temple, having sex. They got all kinds of money. They're living like rappers, really, if we break it down. Now, according to investigators, they searched the house of this woman and found more than 80,000 photos and videos that were being used to blackmail the monks. 80,000? That is so many. What? Just, that's a lot of videos and photos of sex with monks, man. This is, I mean, it's one thing for a monk to have some, I assume it's unapproved sex with a lady, right? They're supposed to take a vow of celibacy, from my understanding. They're not supposed to be operating in the world of senses and things. You know, they've taken these vows to disassociate themselves with, ordinary life on earth. You know, their head is supposed to be in the clouds, and they're supposed to advise us on how we can live in a state of non-attachment. And yet these monks, very attached, so attached that. And as I was saying, it's one thing for them to have sex. It's another to, allow 80,000 videos and pictures to be taken during these escapades in the temple, in the Buddhist monk MTV Temple Cribs episode that they were living. Now, the article says this scandal is the latest to rock Thailand's much-revered Buddhist institution, which in recent years has been plagued with allegations of monks engaging in sex offenses and drug trafficking. Yeah, I covered a story about monks getting high on meth. They were addicted to methamphetamines, or some sort of amphetamines. Police say the case first came to their attention when they learned that an abbot in Bangkok had suddenly left the monkhood after being extorted by this woman. This woman had a relationship with the monk in May 2024, police say. She later claimed to have his baby and demanded child support for more than 7 million baht. Authorities then discovered that other monks had similarly transferred money to this woman, which police described as her modus operandi. Modus operandi, I guess that means her mode of transportation. Police added they found that nearly all of the money has been withdrawn and some of it had been used for online gambling. This lady's just squandering the monks' money. I mean, it's not even really the monks' money at the end of the day. It was given to them by people, devotees of the temple. I mean, just imagine the disappointment. You're a regular at one of these temples and you look up to the monks as, bastions of self-control and equanimity, and you think to yourself, oh, if only I could live in the world as they do, maybe I wouldn't be so stressed. What's your secret that you're not so stressed? Is it non-attachment? Is it all that quiet meditation, quieting the mind? How do you stay so serene? And the monks are like, wow, we got a lady that comes by and gives us happy endings every Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, this just goes to prove that corruption seeps into all forms of organized religion, not just in the West. And this is why I don't join organized religions nor give them my hard-earned money whatsoever. By hard-earned, I mean, sitting in a closet recording stories about Florida man and then telling dick jokes at night. All right, let's wrap up this story. Let's disrobe it a little further here. This woman's facing multiple charges, including extortion, money laundering, and receiving stolen goods. Yeah, what about the monks? Are they receiving anything? Shouldn't they be punished on some level? They're spending their, what do you call people that go to a temple? Congregants? They're spending their congregants, their congregationists, hard-earned money on a lady. There's no photo of her. She better be hot, though. Not that justifies this behavior. The police say they've opened a hotline for people to report, quote, misbehaving monks. Is this the misbehaving monks hotline? Oh, hey, how are you? I would like to report that a monk just stole my parking spot. Yeah. Hello, misbehaving monks? Is this the hotline? I'd like to report some misbehaving monks. I was at karaoke just now. Several of them sang R. Kelly songs. I think that's misbehaving. A misbehaving monks hotline. That is so funny and innovative. I mean, we could have used this in the States. Misbehaving priests hotline a couple decades ago would have saved some kids some therapy. Hello, my fellow weirdos and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thank you for spending some time with me in this episode. Appreciate everybody that's reached out to me lately. My email's funnyjones@gmail.com. If you'd like to stay in touch, feel free to send me any articles, links to weird news that you think is appropriate for the show. I will take a look at that. Also, if you're on Instagram, check me out, Funny Jones, at Funny Jones on Instagram. I appreciate a follow. You can even message me, and I'll say what's up. You'll find information to the stand-up comedy shows that I'm doing this weekend on the Instagram as well. Friday night, we're in Huntington Beach, and Saturday, 2 shows on the west side of Los Angeles, so over in Venice, Culver City area. Yeah, and that's what I got going on. If you want to support the show, please head to weirdafnews.com, the official website of the podcast, where you can join the Patreon, and you could buy a coffee for Jonesy. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be doing the Patreon, Weird AF News Patreon only fantasy football league again. We're going to do that this year. I'm only saying that now because I'm thinking about fantasy football, because I'm in the middle of a draft right now, a rookie draft for a dynasty league. So it's on my mind right now, and it reminded me that, I need to set that up. So just putting it out there. If you think you might want to play against me in fantasy football, you want to join that league, you'll have to join the Patreon in order to do so. So we had 12 teams last year. I'd love to do 12 teams again this year. Anyways, just something I'm thinking about, putting it out there. All right. Be good to yourself. Take care. See you tomorrow.